Today is February 21st, 2024. How did we get here? Jeez. How did we get here and we're still driving cars with tires and not floating around like the Jetsons? How is it not the Jetsons yet? You know why? Because my childhood was a lie. So was yours. I watched a documentary last night about a cult in California. It's weird, right? I can't remember the statistic, but the number of cults, like currently in the U.S., is staggering. Staggering. This particular cult was more recent. I think it just disbanded. It just ascended, or at least the leader did, in 2021 maybe. Anyway, without going into too much detail about it, you can watch it if you want. I think it's called Mother God. You see that people are, not just the cult leader themselves, like her, that she just kind of, she's not an overtly religious person growing up. And she just kind of like adopts this persona that she is the embodiment of God, Jesus Christ here on earth. And, she just starts collecting followers. And it turns out that she's not malicious. She's just a drunk, which was crazy. She's a, heavy alcohol user, and amongst other things, lots of psychedelics, predictably, and lots of marijuana, also predictably. But the alcohol kind of threw me, that she's a heavy alcohol user, and of course the followers are excusing that because she's hoodwinked them into her being God. One, her being God, they believe that she's God. They'd do anything for her, right? And two, that the alcohol is medicine. The conversation I had this morning with my partner was about the type of people that get pulled into this kind of belief system. Like, what is it about them that allows for them to buy that somebody is God, or that somebody has a higher power than you, or that, cult leaders, man, they just got this extra special something going on. But also the people that get involved in a cult, I think that they're just looking, they're missing something in their lives, and they're looking for that. And they find it in these people, and they find it in this like-minded kind of community. I mean, they're hurt people. They're very hurt people. So, again, without going into too much detail about this cult, and this woman, she's dying from alcohol toxicity. I mean, it's all those regular signs, In the end, she's turning, her body's literally, skin is turning like a green color because her liver is failing. And they're dragging her all over the place. They're traveling here and they're traveling there, and they're trying to get her to the right spot because presumably, the spaceship with Robin Williams in it is coming down to take her away. Of course, that never happens. Newsflash, that never happens. They transport this woman around after she's dead. They're transporting her around for like 12 days. They're giving her water. They're checking her breathing. And I don't know. These people they're so lost. They're such lost souls. I feel bad for them. And for them to kind of come out of this most people I think require this kind of deprogramming therapy so they get their feet back under them. One of the last hardcore supporters of Keith Raniere finally came around. She just, embarrassingly enough, showed all of her true colors in one of the last documentaries I saw. She's one of the last people who's supporting him, and she's dancing for him outside of the jail window, and it's so cringy. And then like a year after that, after the lawyer fired her because he's like, no, I'm not, you're fucking wacko, right? Can't be associated with you. She finally came around and realized that it was all fucking crazy and that she was just kind of lost there in that belief. So yeah, this woman dies. They drag her around for about 12 days and then they're left with themselves. So my point kind of was that, they're already damaged, lonely, traumatized people who find themselves pulled into these cults or these groups, and then when something like this happens, when the leader dies, then they're just kind of like, they're like, what do we do now? What do we do now? Like, we don't have all these things to do to take care of this person, and she's not around to tell us what we have to do. What do we do now? So then they're like doubly traumatized because now they got to deal with this, and they still have to grow the fuck up. They still have to learn to be a functioning person in a regular society and not this little microcosm of hippie utopia. Anyway, I had a father that was very much like this. I know that he aspired to be someone who was going to lead a group of people. He had, lots of grandiose delusions, and there was lots of biblical conspiracy growing up, and he wasn't always like that, but the drugs turned him. And then whatever other little chemical ticking time bomb he had in his brain, he never got there with that. But it was very difficult to grow up with somebody like that. Narcissist, some borderline personality stuff. I'm sure he had a few things going on. And the sad part about my dad was that at the end of his life, I spent the last, 3 or 4 weeks of his life with him every day. He died at home. He had lung cancer. He was an avid pot smoker. And when I say avid, he was smoking around the clock. Like, he just didn't stop. But as he was dying, I could see that kind of realization coming over him, and him realizing that he never was the person that he pretended to be, that he wanted other people to believe that he was. I'll go into this later more at some other juncture, but I could see the disappointment in his face that he never got there, and that he never really was that. And thank God for epiphanies, right? And self-realizations and stuff. But it was very, very, very sad to witness him kind of seeing what he had been doing for the past, 25 years of his life, and how he had shown up. Anyway, Mother God, I think, is the documentary. It's on Max, and it's pretty entertaining. It's also pretty thought-provoking, and for me, it's very thought-provoking. Anyway, everyone have a good day. Bye.